Hello, hello. Welcome to possibly the final live stream of this game, although I think I've said that the last 2 weeks, so we'll see. We are streaming the very end of The Forgotten City, a video game about a mysterious ancient Roman city. And if you don't want to be spoiled on that mystery, I suggest that you start over at the beginning of my streams, which you can find on my YouTube channel, or go play the game yourself. I'm going to give a quick summary while we're loading, and then we're going to dive right in. If you're here live, feel free to say hi in chat. I look forward to seeing your messages. Oh, and I didn't say my intro today. Hi. Hello and welcome, I'm Zilla, and this is my Twitch channel, where I stream games that have to do with the ancient world, and talk about, well, mostly their scholarly content, whenever I can. Okay, so a brief history of where we have come to today, and if you're wondering, yes, this is my cat. Her name is Freya. She will be joining us for at least part of the stream. A brief history of the game so far. We are an archaeologist who woke up on the banks of the Tiber River to a woman named Karen asking us to go investigate some mysterious ruins and look for a guy named Al who went in there ahead of us. We discovered a time portal to an ancient Roman city with this terrifying rule, many shall suffer for the sins of one, which is enforced by some kind of underworld god via a series of golden statues which pull out bows and shoot people, turning them also into golden statues should the rule be broken. Now, since we are in a time loop, we have been able to go and figure out a whole bunch of stuff about this place. And in this case, we've actually already gotten 3 of the endings. So, what's actually going on is that the magistrate of the town is a power-hungry madman who's decided that it's worth living in Groundhog Day just to live as magistrate for another week or 2. And so if we kill him, the time loop stops. If we let someone else kill him, the time loop stops. And if we're in a place where we can get out when that happens, then we do. And Karen, of course, is not Karen, but Charon, the ferryman of the dead. Now, there's something really wacky going on in this place. I don't know exactly why, but today I want to find out. So let's go and see if we can find out. So, here is our friendly...
friend. Mind telling me who you are and what you're doing with that bow on your back?
genre-savvy cinnamon roll who will do basically anything that I ask him to take care of if I tell him urgently enough. So, let's see what I can do with this.
Oh, sounds serious. I'm listening.
Okay. So these are my options.
Yulia? Oh no. Alright, I can do that.
Ooh, we do have a new option here. We go threaten Malleolus for us, which I think is a good idea.
Poor Virgil.
I'm going to get him to
Poor
actually,
Rufius too, I guess. Alright, got
do
it.
all of this.
Alright, let me see. Stop Fabia going in, but send the new arrival to the empty shrine. Understood.
Yeah, so we can have him do all of this, and maybe that'll help.
Are you... You're serious, aren't you? I doubt Domitius will let me talk to him, but I'll make sure he passes on the message.
Oh.
I'll go.
That would be
once I'm
interesting.
done, I'll need you to tell me how you know all of this.
Huh. Okay. So if I have him do everything, what do I do? Well... I think I'm gonna go and tell Olivia that she... Oh, what is with my lag today? I hope that gets better. Still going on the stream? It looks like it. Okay. Anyway, where is Livia? Oh, she's not out here. There she is.
The 49
Hey. What
melodies
happens if I talk
fetch
to you before you
again,
get to your
with
fire?
incessant just as the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world. So this place accepts all the souls, but it does not notice the crowds that come.
I mean, I wonder if I've actually asked her these other things. Might as well try.
The bloodless shadows wander without
So she's
flesh
just
or
gonna quote
bone.
all of us.
Some crowd the forum, some the house of the ruler of the depths. Others follow their trades, imitating their previous lives.
Well, we'll see what,
There is
what line she
only a
quotes.
downward path, gloomy with fateful
just
yew
goes in order.
trees. It leads through dumb silence to the infernal regions. There is only a downward path.
Yeah, this is interesting. I'm getting some serious lag here. Sorry about that.
The bloodless shadows. This is their punishment.
That's not a quote.
Say it. Speak its name. Then it is true. I was right.
You were.
I thought I saw it, but when the rest of them could not, I kept thinking I must have gone insane. I had to tell myself it was true over and over again, until I wasn't sure if I was deceiving myself. I must apologize if my words seem cryptic. I'd found comfort in reciting the Metamorphoses by our great poet Ovid. He gives such an uncanny description of this place. I cannot help but wonder if he himself came here. Would you like to hear it?
No, that's really okay.
I understand. Such things are not for everyone. But I thank you nonetheless. And now we share a secret. It's as if you've lifted a great burden from my shoulders. Thank you, friend. I think I should rest.
Oof. What is going on with this this lag? I don't like it. Yes. So I can't recall if I mentioned this when we talked to her before, but it is kind of funny that she chooses Ovid to quote and not Virgil, even though Ovid is probably a little bit more contemporaneous for somebody in 64. Because, I mean, first of all, that description in the Metamorphoses is... That whole sequence is a little bit tongue-in-cheek and kind of mocking Virgil. Although it's not, it's a beautiful description, and they do seem to have followed it. But it's also just kind of odd because, Virgil, after his death, was vaunted as, like, the great poet, and became sort of this national hero, and his poetry was taught as, like, the standard thereafter, and you'll still get people thinking of it that way. Whereas Ovid died in ignominious exile after a really big scandal that nobody exactly knows what happened, but the best guess is that he either was involved with or published something describing the details of a sex scandal involving Augustus's granddaughter. So, I don't know, it's kind of a funny choice. She seems like a funny old woman. I like her. I wish we got to talk to her more. Oh my gosh, what is going on with this game? Do I need to reload it? I really hope not.
You don't need to say anything. Just rest up
Okay.
and get your strength back.
Good deal.
We'll celebrate properly when you're ready.
Sounds like
I will. Thank you.
that took long enough that not only has everybody been taken care of, but Malleolus has already withdrawn. You don't look busy. Okay. I can't talk to him until he has finished
Don't
his
believe
tasks.
a
however
word
long
they
that
tell
is.
you.
I guess we're gonna hear this conversation from up here. I guess we can't talk to Galerius until it's over. Can't talk to you now? No? Okay. Okay. So, Equitia knows. Where is Equitia anyway? Oh, there she is. Okay.
Citizens, I have an announcement. Malleolus has withdrawn his candidacy from today's election. Unless any new challengers are nominated by nightfall, Sentius will be re-elected magistrate by default.
Actually, I'd
Oh,
like
good.
to
He
nominate
does
myself.
this on his own.
If that's all right.
good to know.
Of course, Galerius, that's your right. Citizens, the election will proceed.
Good, good.
Salve again, friend. I went and did as you asked, and it worked. How is it possible that you've just arrived here and you already know everyone and exactly what's about to happen to them? You're toying with me, right? Wait, you're not kidding, are you? That's the only way you could have known. You're a bit like... Oh, what was his
Here we
name?
get the Sisyphus talk
Sisyphus.
again.
Yeah, that's the one. Old King Sisyphus. Sisyphus was a Greek king a long time ago. For daring to think he could outsmart the gods, he was given a terrible punishment. He was forced to push a great boulder up to the top of a hill. Only, just as it reached the top, it would roll all the way back down to the bottom, forcing him to start over and over and over again for all eternity. Just like you. Actually, now that I think about it, there are a bunch of old stories about the gods punishing people by making them do the same futile task over and over. Tantalus was made to grasp at fruit on a tree he could never quite reach. The Pleiades had to keep fetching water in a sieve. Oh, and Ixion was strapped to a wheel going round and round forever. But, on the bright side, at least you're not stuck in the underworld like they all were. Anyway, I don't know which god you managed to upset to get yourself into this position, friend, but you seem all right to me. So, I'll tell you what. I'll keep doing whatever I can to help you. And you just focus on finding a way to break the cycle you're in. Oh, and I'm in the running for magistrate. Feeling kind of nervous, but I'm hoping it'll all be worth it when I order Dooley's release. I just hope I'll have the votes I need.
So, I'm hoping that by having him go around and do all of these things for me, that he'll have secured as many votes as possible. Because it did seem like when we saw the election happen last time, everybody who voted spoke about why they were voting for Galerius. So, here's hoping.
Oh, that's kind of you to say. Now, I'm going to keep your secret. Although, it's not as if I'll remember this next time we talk anyway, right? Oh, and if our conversations ever start to annoy you, just tell me you're busy. I know when I'm not wanted. May fortune smile on you, friend.
You know, I was thinking about that Sisyphus story and the way he tells it, and I mean, we've talked about Sisyphus before. I don't need to go into all of that right now, but just to let you know about things which interest me, I guess. If you are a fan of The Sandman, the comic by Neil Gaiman, and if you're excited like I am for the series that is about to start, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I mean, the opening to Sandman was inspired in part by the story of Sisyphus. Oh, Sisyphus, what he did was he trapped death in a bag, usually.
Don't believe a word they tell you.
Oh, thanks, Obvious. Keep getting new bits of dialogue, I love it. There's always more to this game, isn't there? Nice view of the temple from down here. That classic column and triangular pediment shape. It's usually more the sign of a Greek temple than a Roman one, but you know, the Romans did love their Greek architecture too. I bet. I don't recall if we get more arches and stuff when we're closer up, which is more a Roman thing. But anyway, so the beginning of the Sandman starts with not death but dream, trapped by immortal, and all of the consequences of the series follow from that. Okay, Equitia. Can we have this,
A new face. Ave, and may Vesta watch over you. I'm Equitia. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
See if I'm right.
It must be completed by dusk, just the same as any other official business. It'll be between Sentius, the incumbent, and Galerius, the challenger. Why do you ask? As I said, I'm planning to hold it before dusk. But I suppose I could hold it sooner, if there's a good reason.
I kind of wonder if we could vote if we were playing a guy. I don't think that's true, though. I don't think we could.
Yes. I have overheard some rather unpleasant arguments. The last thing we need here is additional conflict. Very well. I'll get things started right away. Citizens, it is time. Let us meet to elect our magistrate.
Time to go to the theater.
The election's on!
It is time. You know, one thing I did want to talk about last time, but I forgot. You know, I was asked in the chat whether the latrines would be segregated in any way, and I only ended up talking about by sex. But also there's the issue of class, which I really only vaguely touched on. So in essence, no, public bathrooms were not segregated by class. You would find slaves using them, and you would find upper class people using them all the same. So the big difference is that the upper class folks would also have their own. And so they'd only use the public ones if it was, you know, more convenient. Whereas, you know, slaves would generally only have the option of the public ones, or if their masters had one that they were allowed to use. So,
We have a quorum body of voters gathered here to elect.
I mean, you get people bullying each other and being all kinds of racists and stuff in various ways, but not officially. They weren't officially segregated that I know of. Oh, I meant to mention that Galerius' last name, Helva, is a reference to where he's from in the British Isles.
Sentius, of course.
Gorgeous.
Galerius. He saved the life of my dear friend Fabia.
Dacius.
Sentius.
Virgil.
The man who put a stop to the threats I've been receiving. Galerius.
Excellent.
Galerius, the man who saved my life.
Rufius.
The man who treated my rheumatism. Galerius.
Citizens, you have made your decision. Your new magistrate.
All right.
Helva.
Excellent. Also, Gallus means rooster, as well as gold. So, I don't know. I don't know if that's something they picked out.
Put your trust in me. I'm going to do everything I can not to let you down.
Hear him.
I'll need some time to put together a list of the changes I want to make around here. But I promise you, there will be changes. My first order is that Dooley is to be freed. Horatius, release him from his cell immediately. Please. Wait, do I need to say please? I suppose
He's
not.
so cute.
That's it. You can all get on with your day. Nothing else to see here. Move along.
Galerius, talk to me. Oh no, not. I don't mind this.
Harvey again. Did you find what you need?
I didn't actually mean to talk to you, but thank you.
See you again soon, I hope.
Where did he go? He went. Okay. Alright, so Dooley is now free.
Fortune smiles on you today, Julius. Magistrate Galerius has ordered your release.
Oh, yeah.
Out?
I'm sorry it took so long, my friend. And it wouldn't have happened at all if it wasn't for a newcomer. So be sure to offer your thanks when you can.
I will. I will. Thank you, Galerius. I'm so happy.
Oh.
I'd love to stay and chat, but I've got a lot of work ahead of me. Why don't you go to the baths? Then tell Georgius I said you could have some new clothes. Then I want you to go home and rest. I'll speak with you soon, Dooley.
Hello, Dooley.
Hello? I'm Dooley. Magistrate Galerius said I should thank the newcomer. Are you the newcomer?
Yep, that's me.
Oh, it is you. Then, thank you. You're a big helper. I was locked up, but they let me out again. I'm so happy. You can have my shiny plaque if you want, and maybe you can
there's
help
the
me find my
prize.
treasure. My friend Hannibal used to look after me, and he said he always would. But then he died. But before that, he told me if anything ever happened to him, I had to find something very precious.
What was it?
He gave me a key to the cisterns and told me to keep it safe. He said there's something very precious way up high. Please help me find it. Please. I had to keep it a secret until I found someone I could trust. Oh, thank you. Here's the key.
Wow. I didn't remember he had a key to the upper cistern if I knew. The precious thing that he found up there was the way out. Oh, Dooley.
Hope you find it. In the cisterns. Way up high, Hannibal said. Oh, look over there. Something shining. Is it treasure? Maybe it is treasure. I can see it for myself. So pretty. And it's just lying out here. Maybe no one wants it.
I want your shiny plaque. Basileus Pluton, King of the Dead.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
I wasn't expecting that. wasn't expecting that at all. Huh. Whoa. This is actually very difficult to control right now. And I'm gonna probably die because I'm having trouble controlling my character. Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna save the game. And then I'm gonna close the software. Pardon me a moment. So, while I'm reloading the game, that was interesting. Apparently, Dooley, in fact, has too much of a magpie eye to keep the golden rule. I didn't realize. I didn't think I was going to have to play Shepherd with him, but it looks like I will. But now I have the last plaque, and I guess that means that I don't actually have to talk to anybody. And I can just take the plaque up to the temple and see what happens. I don't even know how I would have prevented him from doing that. I mean, maybe I could talk to him, maybe not. It is so funny that that even counts, because Dooley doesn't know that he's doing something wrong. But I guess he needs to be watched if you let him free. Poor thing. I don't know, I'm not sure I like that decision as a game design decision. Huh. So let's hope that when this loads I have a little bit better control. Oof. No, don't hide, run. Excuse me. Whoa. Ah. Oh. Get me out of here. So, not so much with the better control. But at least if I keep moving. Oh. Nope. Alright. Let me see if I can get into the options and see what's going on here. Okay. Do anything for me? I do not know. But let's see if it helps. Oh yeah. Oh, that's way better. Excuse me. Run. Do not stop for anything. Do not fall off. Oh, too late. This may be a problem. Maybe I shouldn't have overridden the previous save. which way? Oh boy. Let me in, let me in. Okay. Phew! Well, that was a bit wackadoo. Unexpected. I'm just gonna stand here for a bit and recover. Hwah. Okay. Let me check in my inventory. Do I in fact have all of the plaques? Okay. So, oh, not finished healing yet. So if I go up to the temple, I should be able to get in, assuming that's actually what lets you get in. And so even with the election going ahead as normal and duly being let out as a timer, I should be able to get in and see what happens next. I expect some divine shenanigans. Okay.
Salve, friend. Mind telling me who you are and what you're doing with that bow on your back?
Okay.
Well, sounds serious. I'm listening. Yulia? Oh no. All right, I can do that. Poor Virgil. Poor Rufius too, I guess. All right, got it. All right, let me see. Stop Fabia going in, but send the new arrival to the empty shrine. Understood. What? Are you... You're serious, aren't you? I doubt Domitius will let me talk to him, but I'll make sure he passes on the message. I'll go, but once I'm done, I'll need you to tell me how you know all of this.
Maybe, maybe not. Okay. Oh, much better control. Okay. So, now I need to get over to the temple. Can I get there this way? Okay. Not up and down. You can get there this way, can't I? Yeah, there we go. Or not? Okay. Well, so be it. Stop that. Aha! Network congestion. That's unusual. Can't imagine. So I know that we are not using the internet more than normal. But okay. I have control back. That's good. Whoa. Mostly. Let's just go up this way. Oh, the shrine. Yes. Up we go. It is, in fact, up to me. Hopefully. You. Hello, Sisyphus. Thanks for your inspiration. Reminds me of one of my favorite Tumblr memes. You ever see the millennial Sisyphus thing? Okay. We've inserted a missing piece there, and a missing piece there. Ooh. Doors to the Great Temple open. Oh, but we can overhear this conversation. A message from the Emperor. I am enjoying overhearing these conversations that I could not possibly overhear. Okay, that seems to be the end of it. So, let's see. Oh, have I? Oh no, I have read that before. So let's see what the inside of this temple looks like. Oh, he's talking to Ulpius now. Okay. Let's listen to that. So, we have more porphyry columns, gilded column heads. Ooh, a new design for the ceiling tiles. These, 3 flowers. I don't recognize them. But I would not be surprised if they were something like asphodel or some other flower associated with the dead. We do have those bas-reliefs up there. I can't get too close to them, but it looks like they're the same ones we've seen before. Oh, there's some down here. Yes, this is the one with the maybe lions being attacked by dogs, or horses being attacked by lions in the center. Oh. Unsurprisingly, we have more golden statuary set up, more lion foot columns, and this arching ceiling is a very Roman ceiling. As I was saying outside, the front is a very Greek pediment. And honestly, most of this architecture is very Greek. But the arches are very Roman. And here we go. Something's loading. Speak his name. I wonder what this gets me. Oh, now I want to play this multiple times to see, but I'm gonna go with Hades. Oh, maybe I have to speak all of them. Now I wonder if I have to speak all of them or just the most recent. This is a very modern tiling pattern. I don't know why they'd have this, but then again, I mean, it appears that the Lord of the Underworld is somewhat unstuck in time. That's an odd choice for ceiling, too. A sort of a drop ceiling pattern, and it's worn and kind of ugly. I mean, this is much more plain columns, another pediment. Oh, I bet I had to speak the Roman name out there, and then I have to speak the Greek name here. Ah, alright. Alright. Very cool. So this will be the Egyptian section, and you can see the much bigger stonework. And the Osiris statues, of course. We can see our lovely hieroglyphic engraved stones, and the very sort of monumental angles, and the lovely painted sections above the doors. And no longer with the clawfoot tripods. Now we have these planar brass braziers. But the exquisite rounded lotus top columns. I wish I could read hieroglyphics. Look at all of this. I bet this is all from real temples too. Like, I would just love to know what it says. Any Egyptologists in the chat? Now we get these gray bricks and the very tall ceilings like we saw at the base of the underworld. And, you know, again, the facial hair, the clothing styles have changed to suit a more Sumerian style. Not much further, she says. Oh, and these very almost logographic looking doors. I don't think we saw these in the underworld, but look at these many pointed stars. And I mean, I've been learning some Hittite adjacent logographic stuff, and these sort of like vaguely abstract shapes, very common. Ooh. Friends, I was not expecting this. Are we in a fucking spaceship? We even have, like, space music. We are in a spaceship. Look, we're looking down on Earth. What the heck? Oh my gosh, what, whoa. What? This is cuneiform. Cuneiform matrix. What? I'm sorry, excuse me. What? Oh, I was not expecting this. Excuse me. Wow. Holy wow. What? I want to know if I can get off of here. No, I can't. Okay. And of course he has more of these statues that are definitely not any earthly metal. And what? Well, you can tell I did not look this up ahead of time because I was really not anticipating this nonsense. Oh, Oh, Ancient Aliens. Here we go. Alright. So, I need to talk about Ancient Aliens. Don't get me wrong. I love a lot of stuff that has come from Ancient Aliens in terms of media. Stargate SG-1 is like my favorite sci-fi show of all time. This is freaking beautiful and I love it, but we have to talk about Ancient Aliens. I just don't even... So, what you need to know is that when white people colonized other parts of the world, they needed to feel superior to everyone who didn't look like them, to the people they were colonizing, otherwise they couldn't justify it to themselves. And so they decided that anything beautiful, monumental, anything that showed the depths of history and ingenuity of those people had to have been done either by white people or by aliens. And that's why Ancient Aliens is a thing. And that is why it is so deeply problematic when we have this trope. But it's also so freaking cool sometimes. Oh, it's so troubling. Oh, I was gonna have a lot to talk about with just the through line of like associating all of these different gods with the single same god anyway. But, whoo boy, this is not what I expected to find back here. Okay, let's carry on and see what Hades has to say for himself. Look at fucking... What? Just what? Okay.
And here you are. Allow me to introduce myself. As you have already gathered, I've been known by many names. Nergal to the Sumerians, Osiris to the Egyptians, Hades to the Greeks, and Pluto to the Romans. But the one constant through it all has been my title, God of the Underworld. And I've been watching you with curiosity, mortal, ever since your life. You're unlike the others, aren't you? And what is more, you carry a weapon that was never intended for mortals to wield, and you do it so brazenly. But there will be time for your reckoning later. First, as a reward for undoing the desecration of my obelisk, I will allow you to satisfy your curiosity. Ask what you will.
I have so many questions, and I don't think they're gonna be covered by this, but...
My story is many thousands of years long. You will need to be more specific. What do you wish to know? It is a matter of perspective. God is a label I was given by the Mormons, not one I gave myself. Your ancestors revered me because to them, my knowledge and technology made me incomprehensibly powerful, just as you might seem so to an insect. But despite all that, there are rules even I must obey. My kin and I all adopted this form long ago, so that we might better understand and communicate with your kind. In time, we grew fond of the sensory delights of forms, desire, joy, ecstasy, even rage and sorrow, while quiet taste can be addictive.
Okay, so this is an interesting origin story. It's definitely not the only time I've ever seen this, like I said. Stargate is one of my favorite sci-fi properties, so if you're familiar with Stargate, you know why I said that. So, the idea that there is some kind, these aliens are some kind of transcended being, that they're from sort of beyond the mortal plane, as it were, and even the idea that, you know, in time humanity might transcend its physical form to be something more pure, or something, is not an unusual one at all in sci-fi. And that the gods have shaped themselves after mortals in some fashion even tracks pretty well with the way that the ancient Greeks, for example, talked about their gods. Not so much that the gods shaped themselves like humans, but that humans can't understand them as anything other than human-like. And so the stories about them are very human in many ways. Which is, you know, it's a bit of a difference from the sort of the idea of the one ineffable God, but not so different, right? Because then you get Jesus, who is sort of God's human messenger to humanity. So this is a continuation of that idea of like embodiment as the communication between the divine or whatever and humanity. One of the more succinct descriptions of this from the other side that I've heard, if you've ever read the Dresden Files, there's this character who is literally a true knight of the cross who doesn't believe in God. What he believes in is that there is some kind of incomprehensible higher power, and it might as well be aliens or it might as well be God, and whatever that is, it helps him sometimes, and that's cool. So this idea is very, very common when trying to grapple with the idea of any higher power. It's unusual that the higher power themselves chooses it, although, like I said, not unheard of. Here's a classic. This usually ends with mortals dying. Let's find out.
No. Long ago I swore to Proserpina that I would remain in this form for as long as we remained among your kind. I must honor that.
Now that's fascinating. So, even though Proserpina has been, you know, undermining him this whole time, for whatever reason, he does honor his sworn word to her, and she is presumably protecting us, because that makes sense. Although, you know, if you've ever watched overly sarcastic productions discussion of Hades and Persephone, which I also have a response to on my channel if you're interested, there's a whole question as to whether the ancients would have seen Persephone / Proserpina as protective at all, or whether she's more of an imposing figure, the Iron Queen, the mistress of the dead, and whether Hades is really much of a god in his own right without her. So let's talk about her.
This is my beloved. Like me, she has been known by many names. Ereshkigal to the Sumerians, Isis to the Egyptians, Persephone to the Greeks, and Proserpina to the Romans. Or perhaps you might know her as the goddess of springtime, the cycle of life and renewal. Your gaze lingers too long.
Okay. So I guess I should talk about what they're wearing. So his clothing appears to have a really intriguing mix of iconography here, as it were. He has these, he has these black metal plates with the sort of the white base, and then the gold adornment and blue. The design, the fringes there with the metal plates almost looks Roman, but the shape of the breastplate and the neck guard make me think Egyptian. The stitching is, I mean, maybe that's meant to be Sumerian style. It reminds me of things you see on depictions of ancient Persian people. Those forearm guards, again, you know, very Greek or Roman depending. The clasps around the sides of his breastplate, those make me think Greek armor. Like, it's just a very fascinating mix. And I don't know if there's any particular symbology to these colors that they're trying to draw on. But that blue matches the, like, unearthly blue of his eyes. And the gold, of course, being the gold, non-gold substance that's been everywhere. Proserpina was dressed in this white gown, white flowing gown, looked very Greek. Although we didn't get a good look at it, so I might be wrong there. And that crown was just like nothing I've ever seen in the ancient world. Like the fang spikes coming out of it, I guess it reminds me a little bit of depictions of Ereshkigal, a little bit. But it's a very strange iconography. And then the fact that she's still somehow communicating with us telepathically is very odd. I just don't know what to make of all this. I was really kind of fascinated. He looks like he's built from the same model as Rufius. Right? Like he's got kind of darker skin, prominent cheekbones, black hair. He looks very at home in this sort of Near Eastern Egyptian mishmash of armor. She looked white. So who knows? Okay, so that's as much as we get about Proserpina.
That is my servant. You would have met by the river, though she wears many faces and goes by many names. Kumutabal to the Sumerians, Kurti to the Egyptians, Charon to the Greeks, and Charon to the Romans. Her role is to ferry souls between the mortal world and this one, and to make their transition as seamless as possible. For that, she earned herself the infamous, if erroneous, moniker, the Ferryman. You will talk more later. For now, ask your questions.
Okay, so Charon is depicted explicitly as female, but also as faceless, which is an interesting choice. I don't really know what to make of that. The Black Reaper robes are are a choice for sure, but the hood, of course, you know, we talked about the hood when Equitia was talking to us about the underworld, and the gold embroidery. It seems of a piece. Okay, so that's...
As you wish.
That's that. What is...
It has come to be known simply as the underworld, and it exists because of a wager I made long ago. That is a long story, one that began over 3,000 years ago and continues to this day. You see, long ago, my kin and I set out from our home on Elysium to search for other forms of life among the stars. We discovered your planet and witnessed your kind evolving from primates to something lawless and barbaric. You all but destroyed yourselves, your 2 short lives being extinguished by violence and ignorance and disease. Yet Proserpina saw raw potential in you, and persuaded the rest of us it would be squandered without our intervention and stewardship. So we revealed ourselves to your people in a place called Sumer. We offered guidance in agriculture, toolcraft, and law, and you called us gods. For a time you flourished, but soon you were too many for us to oversee. And as you spread from that cradle of civilization, we saw something disturbing. We had sown the seeds of dependency and confusion, and soon you returned to your old ways of violence and ignorance, this time in our name. My kin had seen enough, and gave up on your kind, condemning you as barbaric and chaotic, scarcely more than animals. We began preparations to return to Elysium, our home world, a utopia unspoilt by conflict and unimaginable in its beauty. But my Proserpina could not bear to abandon your kind without guidance, and knowing it would force the rest of us to leave her behind, she made an extraordinary sacrifice. She gave up her immortality to descend permanently to the ranks of humankind. And so she began her inescapable trajectory toward death. Horrified, I acted swiftly. I placed her in suspended animation, in a deep frozen sleep, to prevent age and sickness from claiming her. And then I pleaded with Proserpina's father, who the Romans called Jupiter, to bring her with us to Elysium. It was, and is my hope, that once there, we might one day learn to undo what she has done to herself. But he refused. I did everything I could to persuade him that he would not relent. He would rigidly uphold his final pronouncement. Humans were unworthy of ascension to Elysium, and no exceptions would be made. But seeing that I was aggrieved, he proposed a wager, the terms of which were as follows. If even one human city could prove itself capable of living without sin for a single year, then Proserpina and all of humanity would be permitted to join us in Elysium. My part would be to remain behind, the last of my kind, to watch over you, without interfering, and to sit in silent judgment. And so my reward has been to languish here, enduring a 3,000-year winter, waiting for the day your kind proves itself worthy of her faith in you, so that I might take her with me to Elysium and unthaw my goddess of springtime. And here I am, after all this time, still waiting.
Whew, that was a lot. Wow. Fucking racist. Whew, wow. Okay, so remember how I was talking about the ancient aliens thing and, like, non-white people not being able to do shit without, like, aliens interfering. This assertion that they came down in Sumer and taught humanity everything, that they were the origin of agriculture and all that jazz. Yeah, just as an example of the qualms I'm having here, I've got one word. China? Like, I understand the appeal of this so much, and before I understood where the ancient alien trope came from, I had never thought about it, but oh, that hurts my heart so bad. Oh no. Oh gosh. So, wowza. Wow. That's not cool. is what that is. That is not cool. So, this is very condescending to all of humanity, which is fine, but it's also really worrisome in terms of the construction here. I'm not a fan of it. So I'm hoping we are going to be able to have a philosophical conversation with him about the idea of sin. Because, excuse you, but back to the ancient scholarship side of things, I did want to talk about Proserpina and her transformation into human and the mortal form and death. So this is actually a very good mirror for the myth, where she, of all the immortal gods, is the only one allowed to descend to the underworld. She dies. And as he said, that is winter. So that's a really fascinating choice of how to depict that, is that she is, you know, she is not descending from the gods into the underworld, but descending from the gods into humanity, which creates the underworld. It's a very interesting choice, and it kind of works. At least for the Greek and Roman myths. Isis, no. Just I was trying to wrap my head around the Isis myths and getting this to fit them, and it does not. And I mean, Ereshkigal, it fits better, but still a little bit iffy. But Isis, just I can't place that. But his emphasis on sort of the metaphor of winter is warranted. So that's interesting.
There were also gods who, like me, have been known by many names, but perhaps you knew them by their Roman names. Our leader Jupiter, as well as Neptune, Saturn, Juno, Minerva, Mars, Venus, Apollo, Diana, Vulcan, Vesta, Ceres, and of course, my beloved Proserpina.
Okay, so just the Greco-Roman pantheon then. He's not claiming an extension into other parts of the world.
As the first wave of your kind arrived from the Sumer, I had them build a city in their own fashion, so that they might be comfortable and recreate their lives here. I had them build the entrance as a vertical shaft leading to baths, to cleanse them of the sins of their former lives, and to prevent escape. I watched wave after wave of Sumerians arrive, and as their civilization declined over the centuries, they were replaced by Egyptians. Of course, believing themselves to be the superior civilization, the Egyptians...
Well, hopefully you're at least still hearing this.
As the Greeks began to arrive. The underworlds of and ensured their foundations were forgotten.
No? It froze again. Damn it. Okay. Is that working? Okay, it's working. Oof. No idea why that happened. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully you still heard that whole conversation. So, the idea of bathing to wash away your former life is actually a very common one. It's definitely found throughout at least Indo-European societies. Probably much wider even. I mean, it seems like a very sort of common idea. The idea of a ritual bath or a cleansing of some kind. But in particular, you would find this kind of thing, I can speak about it in a Greek context particularly because this is part of what my dissertation was on. So you would have a ritual bath and a cleansing ceremony a few times in your life. First, when you're born, you're washed and named. Well, you're not really named until you've survived, I think it's a week. But that's infant mortality in the ancient world for you. The second time you do that is at your wedding. Particularly women are washed, and their old lives and identities are washed away with it before the wedding. The men would bathe too, but it's not quite as important because they're not giving up their old identity in the way the woman is. And then thirdly, at death, the body would be bathed. And the stories of the underworld involve anywhere from 1 to 3 rivers that you must either cross or bathe in, depending on exactly how you're getting through there. And I mean, one of the most famous rivers in the underworld is the River Lethe, the River of Forgetfulness, where your entire past is taken away from you. Okay.
To ensure the wager was fair, it was important that my subjects were chosen at random. To this end, I had my servant distribute 1,000 tokens fashioned from silver, a rare element at the time, across all of Sumer. Whoever died while in possession of one of them would be located by my servant and ferried to this place, with no memory of how they arrived. As the tokens were discovered, they were traded, smelted, and fashioned into trinkets, and eventually coins, spreading to Egypt like seeds on the wind. Later, when they spread to Greece, they would come to be known as Charon's obol, or as coins for the ferryman. Some placed coins in the mouths of their dead, hoping they would awaken here, though they had no way of knowing which coins were fashioned from the original tokens. In fact, almost all of the tokens are accounted for. Only 2 remain. And so after this wave destroys itself, as it is destined to do, your kind will have squandered the last of its potential to ascend beyond this rock, and Persepone's along with it.
That's a really shitty way to do that. I mean, like, I can understand wanting a random selection of people. Although, honestly, given his circumstances, I don't know why he'd agree to it. I don't know why he wouldn't want to pick them out. Like, wouldn't he want the best of humanity for the best chance of winning his wager? I mean, maybe there's more to the terms of the wager that he didn't tell us. He said to ensure the wager was fair, but why would he want a fair wager? Like, that's not what he wanted. I don't know. But also, why are they single use? Why do they get smelted? Like, why don't humans seem to know about them? If they were known as Charon's obol, then, you know, that sounds like something in particular, but okay. Why 1,000? Why not more? Why not less? How do you ensure that more than one person ends up in the underworld at a time? There's so many logistical issues with this. Please forgive my skepticism, but what the fuck?
It is a regrettable story. One of the first men who came to this place was a king of Sumer, a troublemaker. To be rid of him, I returned him to his people, on the condition that my servant erased his memories of this place. But the erasure did not take completely, and he told stories of this place as if describing memories of a dream. His tales were committed to writing, which came to be known as the Epic of Gilgamesh, and his words were twisted and distorted over generations. Later, the Egyptians would adapt Sumer's stories of the underworld, making them wildly intricate and labyrinthine. Their Book of the Dead and Book of Gates bore less and less resemblance to this place, in their priests' pursuit of Then, when the Greeks began to arrive, they proved far more cunning. And in a series of incidents that will not be repeated, 5 of them escaped. A warrior named Heracles, 2 kings named Sisyphus and Theseus, a poet named Orpheus, and a Trojan named Aeneas. They each told embellished tales of this place, how to get here, and how to escape. And so from Sumer to Egypt, Greece to Rome, your kind has always told each other stories about this place, though each story contained only a seed of truth.
Yeah, that list did not make sense, by the way. So Aeneas, a Trojan, not a Greek. He was not a Greek, he was a Trojan. He was significantly earlier than a lot of those other figures, if he existed at all. And yet he was written about much later. It would have made much more sense for him to say that Virgil had come down and escaped, and that Ovid was copying him. But then also that list didn't include, for instance, Odysseus, who has a well-known catabasis in the Odyssey where the witch Circe, takes him down, or instructs him how to get to the shores of the underworld and communicate with the dead, and then he comes back to the land of living. And then saying that Sisyphus actually was down here and then came back out is a little bit strange. Although, I suppose plausible, if the story's distorted. But again, it seems kind of weird that he focuses on the Greeks, calls them cunning, and it smacks of, you know, both modern and ancient racism. I hate saying that word so much, but it's true. The Romans viewed Greek people as cunning little rats. You know, they're too smart for your own good, and they're out to get you. And again with the only the Greeks get that treatment. When it's Gilgamesh, he's just an asshole that he wanted to get rid of, and the Egyptians and the Romans don't even get that much. Although I guess he mentions Ovid, who, again, not Greek. Distinctly not Greek. So, the Epic of Gilgamesh does describe a catabasis, a descent into the underworld and a return. But it's really hard to fit that into this story. I guess in a way, the Epic of Gilgamesh, where Gilgamesh does descend to the underworld in search of his friend Enkidu, and tries to bring him back out and fails, specifically because he falls asleep. I guess that part tracks with the sort of the mention of a dream. I don't know, that was a very strange list and a very strange way of putting it.
Of course. That is merely the name your people have given to it, but yes.
My people didn't do
it is
shit,
mine
man.
too.
I'm not Roman.
That is a story dating back to the very first wave. After the Sumerians finished building their city, the self-declared ruler threw a banquet to celebrate. Now this man was unmarried, and many women were vying to become his wife. Prestigious position, power, and influence in a new world. Of all the women, 2 were particularly ambitious. Both were beautiful, and both arrived at the banquet wearing eye-catching dresses and painted faces, their hair woven in elaborate fashion. The first woman, recognizing that she would require an advantage to win the ruler's affection, draped herself in jewelry, ornate necklaces, bracelets, and rings fashioned from gold. Seeing this ostentatious display, the second woman grew envious, for she had no such jewelry at her disposal. She prayed aloud to any gods that would listen to cover her in gold. And when her prayer went unanswered, she took matters into her own hands. While the others indulged at the banquet, the second woman summoned the first for a discussion in a quiet place. She checked that nobody was watching, and pushed her rival from the top of the ziggurat where she broke her neck on the rocks below. But I was watching, and I decided to answer her prayer. I took the golden bow left behind by Diana, and I shot that woman in the heart, covering her from head to toe in a layer of molten gold. And I left her to stand there, that she might serve as a grim reminder of what befalls those who sin in my domain. But that was not enough, for the entire city was tainted by her sin, and the wager could no longer be won. So I had no choice but to wipe the slate clean. I gilded them all, to make way for a new wave, and began the wager again. And to this day, each of them, and all who came after, line the halls of this city, inanimate but conscious, suspended in time with only their sight and hearing preserved, so they may bear witness to and lament the folly of your kind for eternity, as silent golden sentinels.
Yo, when you said that, anger and hatred and such are addictive, I guess you were talking from experience, a little bit. Might be over a line, a little bit. Definitely don't think of humans as people, do ya? Ouch. So, aside from the Game of Thrones treatment of the initial woman there, that just seems excessive, right? Like, first of all, that's clearly not just gold. Like, it's also got some other property, because gold does not act like that in any way, shape, or form. Like, the variable weight of it, the fact that I can kick them around and they don't ding, the way that the peeled statues act. And I wonder if we get to ask him about that, because I would love to. Something is up with that. But okay, so that aside, he left those people there conscious? What kind of a sick freak does that? Like, the idea of the underworld as a place of eternal torment for anybody but, like, the worst offenders doesn't really happen till the Christians. Like, this is some really... And also just, like, the decision that he had to torment the rest of them because of the one person. Like, why not just let them go at that point? Like, plenty of people die without getting here. Just send them wherever that is, right?
I give your kind a second chance at life, as well as ample warning about my law. And when you disobey, and you always disobey, you force my hand, bringing terrible suffering upon yourselves. And so you ask if I am the one destroying your lives. And I say, no, you destroy yourselves. I am merely the means by which you do it.
ACAB, folks.
I give your kind a second, and so you are, you destroy.
Go on to the next one, please. Nope, just one.
When my kin departed, they left behind many relics which I inherited. Consolation prize of sorts. The golden bow originally belonged to one of my kin, who the Romans called Diana. As my collection of golden statues grew, I chose the most ferocious among them, equipped them each with a duplicate of her bow, and tasked them with hunting down the Forsaken at my behest. They became known simply as Furies.
Okay, well, confirmation of that guess. I think I was talking about it last week, where I speculated that maybe those huntress statues, even though they are not described, they don't look anything like the descriptions of the Furies in Greco-Roman art or literature. They seem to be acting as Furies, and so here they are. So, what do you consider?
I've always considered that the cornerstone of morality is the ability to determine right from wrong on one's own. No attempt to lay out rules like your Code of Hammurabi or your 12 Tables of the Roman Republic can ever cover all possible scenarios. This should come as no surprise to you, since the core principle has been expressed in many forms by many of your civilizations. The Egyptians made a rudimentary attempt with do to the doer to make him do. The Greeks refined it with avoid doing what you would blame others for doing. The Roman Stoics added, treat your inferior as you would wish your superior to treat you. Even the so-called cultists hiding among you often say, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It is the simplest of concepts, and each one of you is born with the faculties required to apply it to any situation. Yet none of the peoples who expressed this rule were able to uphold it. Curious, is it not?
I mean, seriously. I understand why he, in this situation, would see all humanity as a monolith, but it's really getting on my nerves. It's just never a good idea. Don't do it, folks. So I did want to talk about, I think I've mentioned the 12 Tables before, the Roman ancient laws that were literally carved onto 12 tablets of stone in the Forum. And he mentioned here the Code of Hammurabi, you might have heard of as one of the earliest law codes that we actually have record of. So this is not without merit. Like, he's talking about a series of philosophies that all have this core question of morality at the heart of them. It's just that he's come into the wrong conclusion about it.
Enough. You clearly know nothing.
Oh, I guess I pissed him off. Ah, no!
Very well. That is merely the name your people have given to it, but yes, it is my doing. I am able to commune with all of the statues in the city. Their ears are my ears, and their eyes are my eyes.
Guess I don't have.
If she was still conscious, I suppose she could, but she's not. Why do you ask? Then what an odd question.
I guess it was. Come on.
Do you plan to speak in sweeping generalizations, or are you going to give me an example? Abduction? You mean the magistrate imprisoning his daughter in the cistern, I take it. He did so because she sought to escape. A sin I take particularly seriously. Better that he stops her from escaping, albeit brutishly, than I have to wipe out this entire city to punish her. Would you agree?
That is some abuser talk.
Supposing you're right, and my law has been broken, and I should turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want? Then your desire to be right outweighs your desire to survive. You will make a fine statue.
Oh. I didn't particularly think either of those was a good idea, but I guess that's how I'm going.
A god with that primitive weapon. How dare you threaten her? This ends now. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Ah! How do I get there? Okay. Where is it? Ah, why is it doing this? Okay. Yo. Settings. There. Gimme. All right. Run. Oh. What the hell is happening? Nope, don't get caught on the walls. This is really infuriating. I have no idea what's happening. Well, maybe that will take us back to a place where I can talk him down instead of talking him up. Let's see where it loads me. Okay. Alright. Well then. It is pretty late. It's already 4:30. Now, I don't usually stream this long, but I really would like to finish this game. So, please bear with me. This is gonna be a little bit of an extra long one. And if I can just talk through this and get us to ending number 4, then that's great. And if I get to the point where he makes me fight him again, I'll quit for the day and we'll come back next week. So that's the deal.
And here you are. Allow me to introduce myself. As you have already gathered, I've been known by many names. Nergal to the Sumerians, Osiris to the... and I've been
trying
what
as fast
that
as
there
I
will
can.
be first. That is merely the name your people have given to it, but yes, it is my doing. I've always considered that the cornerstone of morality is the ability to... The Greeks, the Roman Stoics, even the... It is the simplest of yet none of the people. For you, perhaps.
Huh. I thought that would be...
Do you plan to speak in sweeping generalizations? Or are you going to give me an example? Ah, the tavern keeper, yes. How is that inconsistent with the rule? I disagree. Having watched that tavern keeper, that is precisely what she would expect from others. She would view it as a game, one she intends to win. Applying this rule always requires speculation to some degree. It requires us to ask what another person would want if they found themselves in another situation. Not if we're wise enough to know the mind of man. Supposing you're right, and my law has been broken, and I should turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want? Now tell me, what other sins do you believe I have overlooked? The merchant. How is that inconsistent with the rule I've outlined? I disagree. Having watched this merchant, that is precisely what he would expect from others, and he would be quite capable of paying the price anyway.
Do I have to go through
Applying this rule always requires speculation to some degree. It requires us to ask what another person would want if they found themselves in another situation.
I do actually have enough knowledge of Odysseus to know that that's not the case. I've actually had that conversation with him.
Not if we're wise enough to know the mind of man. Supposing you're right, and my law has been broken, and I should turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want? Now tell me, what other sins do you believe I have overlooked? You speak of the moneylender. How is that inconsistent with the rule? And he would never have signed a contract pledging his labor for 30 years. All he did was enforce the terms of a contract signed voluntarily by others. Ignoring your irritating sense of moral superiority, this is interesting. I'm curious, how do people escape poverty?
Oh, that's an interesting one, I wonder.
I see. And how long might it take such a person to repay their debt?
That's not the direction I expected him to go with this. I mean, it's certainly correct that this is a problem. But we do actually have debt bondage and slavery. It's called the carceral system. And people don't escape it.
I fail to see how your system of laws is significantly different to a debt bondsman signing over his labor for 30 years.
It's not the same.
Supposing you're right, and my law has been broken, and I should turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want?
No.
Now tell me, what other sins do you believe I have overlooked? The midwife and the palace, yes. How is that inconsistent with the rule? The rule is do unto others, meaning other people. Those statues are something else now. Bloodless shadows, mere shapes of their former selves. They are forsaken. What happens to them is no concern of mine.
Excuse me? You just said that they are still human, that they're still conscious, that they can hear and see. Clearly they can still feel, and what in the world? They're clearly not bloodless, since they bleed freaking everywhere. They are no more bloodless shadows than the rest of us. Oh, this is not okay.
Applying this rule always requires us to interpret the meaning of the words. The literal interpretation helps to minimize the ambiguities of your primitive language.
Our language, every language as a whole, is ambiguity. There is no way to directly translate from one mind to another, let alone one language to another. There's always ambiguity.
Supposing you're right, and my law has been broken, and I should turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want? Now tell me, what other sins do you believe I have overlooked? Abduction? You mean the magistrate imprisoning his daughter in the cistern, I take it? He did so because she sought to escape, a sin I take particularly seriously. Better that he stops her from escaping, albeit brutishly, than I have to wipe out this entire city to punish her. Wouldn't you agree? Supposing you're right, then my law has been broken, and I should turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want? Now tell me, what other sins do you believe I've overlooked?
I don't believe suicide is a sin. I don't. I'm worried that I have to click this to get anywhere.
I've seen no such thing, but in any case, taking one's own life is a self-directed act. It is not one that is done to others, however they may be affected by it. Therefore, it cannot be said that one who commits suicide has done anything unto others. Now tell me, what other sins do you believe I have overlooked? Do you honestly think you could do better?
No. No one can. This
I
is
should
impossible.
strike you down for that. Now, did you have any other questions before your reckoning? Very well. Good. Then now it is time for your reckoning. Only, it seems, something is wrong. It has long been within my power to see into the hearts of mortals and weigh their deeds in life. But when I peer into you, I see only a blank slate. How is this possible? Charon, where did you find this one?
I do not remember ferrying you. How did you come here?
I wonder what I should choose.
You would have us believe that my servant merely forgot bringing you here.
If that is true, then I sense the intervention of someone powerful.
How did you come to be in this time, mortal? Who brought you here?
You cannot know.
I do not know. My kin departed long ago, and Proserpina has slumped for 3,000 years.
I guess that means you don't know.
Tread lightly, mortal.
I don't want
Enough
to.
of this. It seems I will need to put your reckoning on hold for now. But answer this. Why have you come here? What is it you seek? Your hubris is amusing, so I will allow you to make your case. But I warn you, if you anger me or waste my time with lies or wrong-headed arguments, you face death here. So, tell me, why should I put an end to the so-called Golden Rule?
So, just want to take a moment to point out that hubris, that he mentioned there, is a very loaded word. We've been talking a lot over the course of this game about sin, the concept of sin, and how the Greeks didn't share that concept. There was no sin. You could miss the mark. Hamartia is the Greek word that in later Greek, in biblical Greek, gets translated as sin. Or you could have some kind of fatal flaw in your character. It didn't make an action a sin, although an action could be an offense against the gods, but even an offense against the gods could be expiated or reckoned with, depending on the circumstances. But hubris is specifically the arrogance of believing yourself equal to the gods. Believing that you have the power of the gods in some way, shape, or form. I mean, that gets taken a lot more metaphorically in a lot of cases. But here, I think it was very particularly picked.
That is a very serious accusation, mortal. What sin have I committed? What evidence do you have to support it? Every one of those people was guilty of failing to ensure their peers lived virtuously. They failed collectively, and so they were punished collectively. The Romans understand this, as did the Greeks before them. Ah, but I'm a god, and you are a mortal. Why would you expect me to treat you as I treat my own kind?
Oh, we didn't call ourselves gods.
You are not a respected equal. Let me ask you this. Do you treat insects as you wish to be treated? Do you care for their well-being as you would your fellow man? Do you ensure they have food and shelter and protection from predators? Do you give them rights?
We're clearly not insects if you're here communicating with us and taking our form. We are clearly, as Anlik would put it, significant beings in your eyes.
Of course not, because that would be absurd, just as it would be absurd for me to treat your kind as equals. My love for her does not mean I am not superior, now that she is mortal. Bah! For a moment I thought you might have been building to a point. But I see now you are just a hubristic little creature.
He cannot know.
Huh. I see what you are doing. You are trying to undermine the one thing keeping me anchored here. You are playing a dangerous game.
I don't see why he can't know.
Liar! How dare you come into my domain and attempt to undermine the thing I hold most sacred? You will make a fine statue.
Okay, well, I guess that's that. So I'm going to stop here and wrap for the day. I will attempt this again next week. Thank you for sticking with me as this extra long playthrough. And I will see you again next time. Keep learning, friends.